For a second night, Boromir woke to find himself wrapped in his warm blanket and cloak by a roaring fire, as though he'd been put to bed by his nurse. He squinted as he opened his eyes to the gathering dusk. He was reminded of the late summer evenings of Rohan. Small violet clouds drifted overhead towards the mountains. Above a sudden gust of wind, there was the flap and crack of a cloak. Boromir started.
You're awake?
Eyes wide, he sat up as he looked around for the speaker. Beyond the fire sat his follower, the elf. He fumbled for his sword, but it was nowhere near.
I took the liberty of removing your wet clothes. Your remaining weapons are quite safe.
Boromir's blanket and cloak fell about his feet as he started to stand. Only now did he realize he was dressed solely in his undershorts. He bent double and held his head in both hands. It felt as though his brains were trying to escape from his skull.
Be at ease,
said the elf.
You have quite a bump to the head. Another bump.
She had her arms resting on her knees, and now she was showing her palms.
Besides, if I wished you harm, you'd never have known.
After settling back down, Boromir rubbed his temples with his fingertips.
A typical elven boast,
he riposted.
I'm merely sitting here keeping warm while you recover.
I have no need for protection, if that's what you suggest.
I suggest nothing. You are clearly a knight of Gondor, although your garb suggests otherwise.
My garb is my own affair, and if you would share my fire, you should change your tone.
The elf raised her eyebrows, then smiled.
Again, forgive me. Although this is my fire.
She lifted a green bottle.
And this is my bottle of Fegween, although I would be willing to share this too.
A horse appeared over Boromir's shoulder and walked towards Lostal. Before long, they were nickering at each other and rubbing necks.
They seem to like each other,
said the elf. Her auburn hair glowed like hot metal in the firelight.
She's a beauty, that one. One of the Miras?
Boromir nodded slowly.
If I may be so bold, how did you come by her?
A gift from a friend.
A generous gift.
Boromir looked at the elf's bottle.
I'd welcome a dram or two. It's a fine evening, though cold.
She tossed the bottle, and he almost fumbled it.
Reckless too,
said Finduilas.
Reckless too,
Boromir muttered and saw the elf smile. He held up the bottle and read the label.
It's not often I come across a vintage Dorwinian.
He glanced at her green and brown clothes in the firelight.
Do you have a name?
Call me Tauriel.
Tauriel, daughter of the forest.
Not very imaginative.
He looked for a reaction, but all she gave was a small sideways nod.
And yours?
Burgil.
She's no spy of Isengard,
said Mother.
Very well. Burgil. I'm afraid I couldn't retrieve your bow, but I saved this.
She showed him the great horn of Gondor and its baldric. Boromir wanted to jump up and dance around the fire, but he gave her no reaction. Tauriel picked up a package from beside her rock seat and opened it on her lap. She unsheathed her knife and began to cut at the revealed joint of meat.
Here.
She threw a piece at Boromir.
Smoked venison.
Boromir caught the meat and sniffed it. He couldn't help letting out a small sigh. He ripped the venison in half with his teeth, started chewing.
Why would an elf of the woodland realm be out here in the wilds of Eriador?
You're a long way from home,
Boromir said, still chewing.
That's one thing we have in common.
She glanced at the horses.
You must be bound for either Bree or for Rohan.
There's no need to pretend you haven't been following me for the last week.
Again she smiled, but this time it was just a trace. She popped a piece of venison into her mouth, then cut off another piece.
Thranduil's folk are known far and wide for their secrecy. All too often, they think everyone else shares their reticence.
If you want to know where I'm heading,
said Boromir,
you need but ask.
Very well. Where are you heading?
North. And you?
I ride to the land of my birth one last time before I sail into the west.
The land of your birth?
Londire, an ancient haven at the mouth of the Grey Flood, now in ruins. Ships from Mithlond often shelter there on their way to Gondor. I would be glad to escort you there.
As I've already said, I'm heading north.
As you know, the Great North Road is a wild and dangerous place these days. It's far safer to travel by sea.
Boromir shrugged. Toriel grinned and looked off into the growing darkness.
If you insist, Bergil, although from here I would travel northeast, through Eregion.
She turned her head back towards him.
The crossing at Tharbad is treacherous,